back to my channel. This is Brittany Likes Bookies, where we keep it cute, we keep it classy, and we definitely keep it diverse. And today I'm so excited to talk to you about these two books. I have been in my cowboy romance era, kind of. Two of my favorite authors released cowboy romances, and I want to talk about them because I don't think enough people are reading them, and they should be. So, what we're going to be talking about today is The Brave and the Reckless by Dilan Dyer and Love is a War Song by my fave, Danica and Nava. I adore both of these authors so much, and I cannot wait to talk to you about their books because you will literally be dying to read them by the time I'm done with this. So, let's not make my intro 700 years long. Without further ado, let's get into it. So first up, let us talk about my girl, Danica and Nava. Anyone who knows me knows that I have talked about The Truth According to Ember relentlessly. And ever since I got an arc of Love is a War Song, I've also talked about it endlessly. And I really think more people need to be reading this because, y'all, you need this in your life. Now, let's talk about blurbs. The blurb for Love is a War Song is, a Muskogee pop star and a cowboy who couldn't be more different come together to strike a deal in this hilarious new romantic comedy by Danica and Nava, a USA Today best-selling author of The Truth According to Ember. Avery Fox's Rolling Stone cover was supposed to be a statement of her success as a Native American pop singer. Instead, it turned her into a national joke. With threats coming from every direction and her career at a standstill, she escapes to her estranged grandmother Lottie's ranch in Oklahoma. Living on the res is new to Avery. Not only does she have to work in the blazing summer heat to earn her keep, but the man who runs Lottie's horse ranch despises her. Red Fox Ranch has been home to Lucas Iron Eyes since he was 16 years old. He has lived by 3 rules to keep himself out of trouble. 1. Preserve the culture. 2. Respect the horses. And 3. Stick to himself. When he discovers Lottie's granddaughter is the Avery Fox, he knows she'll bring nothing but trouble. Lucas can't stand what she represents, but when he's forced to work with her on the ranch, he can't get her out of his sight, or his head. He reminds himself to keep his rules, especially after he finds out the ranch is under threat of being shut down. It's clear Avery doesn't belong here, but they form a tentative truce and make a deal. Avery will help raise funds to save the ranch, and in exchange, Lucas will show her what it really means to be an Indian. It's purely transactional, absolutely no horsing around. But where's the fun in that? Now, one of my wonderful friends on the lovely, well, it's Bookstagram and Threads. I'm opening this so that I can show you. They are wonderful. Their handle is Spoonie Reads, but their name is Haley. And ironically, Haley got this from Naomi, who I also truly look up to as a content creator. Naomi is wonderful. And definitely check out both Haley and Naomi. I will link their Instagrams down below. But Haley, once they finished reading Love is a War Song, I may have begged Berkeley for a physical. I didn't get one, but Haley sent me theirs once they were finished reading it. They were like, as long as you don't mind that it's literally addressed to myself and my friend Naomi. And I knew who Naomi was. I've followed Naomi for a very long time. I also followed Haley for a very long time, and I adore them both. I was like, oh my god, you would do that for me? And they did. So I do have the ARC version, which is one of my most prized possessions. And of course, I had already pre-ordered a physical copy that I am so happy to have. So let us talk about Love is a War Song. I loved Avery. Now, I'm one of those people that when I read a rom-com, I love having 2 leads that are, for sure, definitely flawed people. I think everyone is flawed, and that's okay. You're allowed to be. And I loved watching Lucas teach Avery about her culture because she wasn't really raised around it. And as someone who is Indigenous, who is still learning about their heritage and where they come from, it's on my father's side. My paternal grandmother is Indigenous. We have spent years trying to trace back her ancestry to find out what tribe, so I don't want to incorrectly misspeak and claim a tribe that I'm not sure that I am yet, especially because I'd rather be registered and all of that. So we know there's Indigenous blood in me, but we are still deep diving into the rest of the family to see fully what is the correct tribe and which state they're in so that I can register and pay my dues and all of that. It's very important to me that I do it properly, so while I know I'm Indigenous, I don't want to misspeak and offend any of the tribes, especially if it ends up being incorrect, you know? But it's kind of like me. I feel like Avery sometimes kind of in a sense because she spends so much time like trying to learn who she is and learn about where she came from because her mom, who is also her manager, tends to hide it from her a little bit. And I think Danica has a beautiful way of writing any kind of Indigenous experience. I love the way Danica writes. She writes beautiful romance. She writes beautiful books. I can't get enough of them. I think they're probably some of my comfort reads at this point. Like, I go back to them a lot. Like, I'll read favorite passages, and all of that. But I also loved Lucas and, like, how he slowly gets more patient with her throughout the book. Obviously, no spoilers here. We know I don't like to do spoilers. That's a big thing for me, but this was just pure joy. Literally pure joy. I loved every second of this book. Once I started it, I couldn't stop. There's just something about the way that Danica writes, and I wish I could put it into words, but I can't. It sucks you in, and just the banter and the fun that you get. Also, her grandma is like one of my favorite people on the planet. I loved her so much. I loved getting to see like the ranch and how Lucas was so dedicated. And like he's not part of her family, like Avery's family obviously, but his love and support for Avery's Grammy and the ranch and all of that, it's just so admirable. And I loved getting to watch them together. It was the most fun. And I can't wait to see what Danica writes next, but this has everything you could ever want. It's a pop star who's been cast out. It's a hot cowboy who's definitely not into her. So he says. Wrong. It makes it so fun. And I loved watching the two of them get to know each other and how Lucas was so adamant that Avery wouldn't be able to do anything on the ranch. And she definitely was able to do stuff on the ranch. I loved watching Avery's journey and how she was able to utilize her fame to give back to her community and to give back to her grandmother and the ranch. And I think that's really cool. And I love that Danica always includes like history of what's happened to Indigenous people or parts of the culture. And it's really special. It's really special to see that, especially a traditionally published rom-com by an Indigenous author. Like, it's beautiful to see. Like, I want more of them. I want more of Danica. I want more Indigenous writers writing rom-coms. Please give them to me. But if you are looking for a cowboy romance that is just fun, definitely the male love interest trying to pretend he doesn't like the female main character, the excellent banter, fun, with a little bit of like knowledge, definitely check out Love is a War Song. It's out now. I've, I think, talked about this book at least 7 times, if not more than that. I bring it up every chance I get. No one is surprised. And it just... I need more people to go read it. I need people to read it, love it, understand it, and talk about it, because truly, like, if you have not read this, I'm picking both of them up now because I'm gonna be annoying. If you haven't read this and you love cowboy romances, you're really doing yourself a disservice, truly. Like, it's just so good. It's probably one of my favorite words are hard, cowboy romances ever written. And honestly, I really need you all to go read this. Go buy it. Go support Danica. She is wonderful. Her books are wonderful. And then go love on Avery and Lucas, because they deserve it too. The other book that I wanted to talk about, and if anyone knows me, they know I've talked about this author probably ad nauseum. I was lucky enough to be introduced to this author by a friend who helped with editing their debut, and that author is Dilan Dyer. You've probably heard me talk about Cinderella is Dead or Rapunzel is Faking It. This is Dylan's array into Tri-Publish, because Dilan indie publishes, and I have them, actually they're in my living room because I recently rearranged in here, and I wanted some of the books that I love and that are close to me that I think people should see out in the living room, so I moved all of Dylan's books out there. But this was the first in their new series. It was published with Dell, and it's The Brave and the Reckless, and y'all, this was so much fun. Like, there is no one who does hilarious banter and scenes quite the way that Dilan does. And before we truly get into me literally just showering this book with praise, let's talk about the blurb. Welcome to Bravetown. Saddle up and discover if you are brave enough for the biggest adventure of your life, falling in love. Moving to the Wild West isn't exactly part of Ezra Tanner's life plan. But when she drops out of medical school and her brother suggests she join him at Bravetown, the Wild West theme park where he's working for the summer, she can't find a good enough reason to say no. When she arrives, Ezra happens to be the perfect fit for the costumes of Bravetown's resident damsel in distress, which means she's about to spend the summer being dramatically abducted by Ace Rider, the park's lawless cowboy. Ace is the definitive yes please, with an evil smirk to make you lose your morals, but the man behind the costume, Noah Young, is about as exciting as a granola bar. Noah and Ezra have no interest in each other outside of their performances, but when their stunts start to go wrong and their futures at Bravetown are at risk, Ezra and Noah put their differences aside and soon realize the attraction between their characters might not all be for show. Y'all. This has forced proximity, rivals / enemies to lovers, but also like workplace romance, which is really cool. He's also a cowboy, and Ezra is autistic, and she also has EDS, which I do not see enough disability rep or neurodivergent rep, and we need more of it, and Dilan does it perfectly, truly perfectly in this, and I just, y'all, I could stand here and rant about this for hours, truly. And by rant, I mean shower with praises. So that's what I'm going to do. Not for hours, but I'm just going to talk about it. You're probably now wondering, Brittany, you're not wearing the same thing you were. You'd be correct. I had finished filming the video that will already be posted. It's my reading vlog / review of You Found Oliver by Dustin Tao. And I started filming this video, which is all about Love is a War Song and The Brave and the Reckless. And in the middle of me trying to do this, I had to run some errands with my mom before some of the stores closed, and was really tired, so I went to bed. Anyway, so here I am, and we left off. I was going to yippity yappity, and by yippity yap I mean literally go insane, talking about The Brave and the Reckless by Dilan Dyer. Anyone who knows me, like, and I've said this multiple times, knows how much I love Dilan, but like there was just something about having a like, and I'm gonna tie in another book because it talks about Dollywood, but there is another book that I listened to the audio for. Shout out to Pigment Brand Mouse Audio Influencer Program for allowing me to listen to it, called Once Upon a Time in Dollywood. And that book was phenomenal, and I loved how they incorporated Dollywood. And I don't want to say the author's name incorrectly. Oh my gosh, because my brain just blanked. So while I'm looking up the author's name, I'm going to kind of talk a little bit more about what I was talking about in my last video with being sick and having long COVID. I don't have, well, I have an array of symptoms, let's be realistic. I have struggled the most, I guess, not only with shortness of breath, but extreme fatigue. There are times that I sleep almost 20 hours a day. It's not normal for me. Like, I am a girl who loves sleep, don't get me wrong, but it's been really difficult just because I do like to sleep, and you know, I do still work my part-time job. I'm on disability from my full-time job because I simply just cannot sit in a chair for 8 to 9 hours a day and stay awake. The other thing that I've struggled with is brain fog, really, really bad brain fog. So that is why. Like, I can very vividly see the cover for Once Upon a Time in Dollywood, and I know I read it, but, like, my brain was like, sister, what do you mean? It's by Ashley Jordan, and it also talks about, like, a theme park. And by a theme park, I mean Dollywood, which is kind of what Bravetown is modeled after, in a sense, and I've never been to Dollywood. Ironically, my best friend Lauren and I always joke that, like, we need our vacation to Dollywood, and we still haven't taken it. Mind you, Lauren is still flying, as many of you know. No, I don't know if I, like, outright said it. I was a flight attendant for Delta for 8 years, so I met my best friend in training, and I think it's funny because in training, welcome to my ADHD, anyways, in training they paired us with the person who was, like, closest to us birthday wise, and Lauren and I are literally 3 months and a day apart. So her and I always joke about Dollywood and, like, going. She's still flying, I'm not, but there are times that I'm like, should I do this again? So drop in the comments if you think that I should reapply and try to be a flight attendant again, because I think it'd be funny. But yeah, so Bravetown is kind of modeled off of Dollywood. They're not exactly the same, but I love the small town vibes of this. I love how Dilan just makes you fall in love with Ezra and Noah. Like, Noah is such, like, I don't even want to say a goody-goody, because that's not even it. Like, he's straight-laced. He likes to, like, do things in the proper manner. Like, that's just how he is. And I always found it really funny. And I adore Noah. He's one of my favorite love interests that Dilan's ever written, but I love the representation in this. I loved how fun it was. I loved, like, the forced proximity, like, 7 minutes in heaven feeling, which they kind of allude to a little bit, but this book was just, it was a ton of fun. I've always, like, really, really enjoyed how Dilan writes, but I love that they dove into cowboy romances, and there is romance. This is a stellar romance. I also love how sex positive it is. I don't think we have enough books like that, and not being afraid to, like, be who you are and having control of your own bodily autonomy. Like, I think that's so important, and Dilan does a really, really great job with that. And also, all of Ezra's shirts are hilarious, and I love them. If you read it, you'll know what I'm talking about, but, like, her shirts are just so funny to me, and honestly, I would probably wear some of them. I'm not even gonna lie. I probably would. They're really, they're hilarious. God, I wish I could just, like, sit here and talk to you guys all day about these. I really do, but there's a lot similar in these. I love that there's, like, the ranch aspect, or, like, farm aspect, and I think it's really, really sweet because in The Brave and the Reckless, which is Dilan's book, Noah has, like, this old farmhouse that he's fixing up, and there's barns, and he wants to basically start, like, a horse ranch, which I think is really cool. And, you know, obviously there's the ranch and Love is a War Song, and I really love this. I also I relate to Ezra a lot, like, in a different way. She explains in the book why she doesn't end up going to medical school or dropping out or what have you. I also was on track to go to medical school, so I relate to that. Like, the feeling of regret that she feels, or, like, the feeling that she feels like she let her parents down, I definitely understand. And I think at times, like, you feel like it's the weight of the world on your shoulders, and, like, Ezra's also a perfectionist. Like, I am a perfectionist literally to a fault, and it's really hard sometimes when, you know, I don't know, like, you want to not impress people, but, like, you want to prove to them that you can do it. And I know that feeling when you're like, you've tried and then you didn't do it, and then it really sucks. And that's kind of where I was with it, because for sure I have felt that, and I also wanted to obviously finish medical school. I didn't for various reasons. I also never even applied, but that's a story for another time. Anyways, back to me loving these. These two, yes, I have 2 copies of Love is a War Song. We've discussed this, and no, I don't care. If you are one of those people who, like, loves books that are cowboy romances, like Elsie Silver, that type, you will love these. And I'm telling you, especially because of the representation in both of these, they're so important to me. And they're some of my favorite books that I've read this year. They are in my top 10. I can easily tell you that. And I think, let's see where I'm at. I should also probably film like an updated TBR, or not TBR, an updated reading, like a reading wrap up. I should probably do that for September, and talk about what I'm going to read in October. But let's see. Let's see what my good old story graph says. What up? You can see my story graph. Yes, you can see what I'm currently reading. Let's see where I'm at for the year. Why does it not have me? Okay, hold on. There we go. Okay, so far I've read 83 books. I am a little under, so I set my goal at 65 because I wasn't sure how much I was going to get to read. So I have surpassed my goal so far, and I think I'm going to finish at least 2 books this weekend, so I think I'll hit 85. I set my goal as 20,000 pages. I'm sitting at 19,815, so almost there. And I have tried to, like, recently be more into audio, and I mean, it's also a preferred method, especially because I have been getting migraines that are worse, and sometimes it makes it harder for a screen, because for me, mine is like light more so than sound. Like, they both affect me, but light and anything in my eyes affects me more. So I've leaned more on audiobooks this year, and I set my goal for 100 hours, which I listen between like 1.6 and 1.8 speed. But I'm at 309 hours, and I know there's going to be another one because right now I'm currently listening to, I have to go to my cute little Lepro. This is a Safe Space by Listen to Barry. It's a short little novella that I've really enjoyed. I have about 45 minutes to an hour left in the audio, but that's not what we're here for. Anyways, that is probably going to be the next video that I'm going to film is probably going to be that. But yeah, I need everybody to go read these, because I need more people talking about these. They're so underrated, and they should have all the hype because they're incredible. Truly, Danica and Dilan are phenomenal writers. They do a phenomenal job, and I truly, madly, deeply think everybody should read these. They're just a warm hug, and I love being able to see, like, especially for some of my friends, because I have friends with EDS, I have friends who are autistic. I have ADHD, so I'm not on the ASD list, but I can understand. And obviously, there's a lot of Indigenous rep with Danica's books. So I really need more people talking about these. I'm gonna need all of the cowboy romance girlies to really get down with these, because you are truly missing out on some great books. And I'm so glad I got to read these. I had both of them as an ARC, but obviously I have to have physical copies. And I love them. Truly, they're great books. Both got 5 stars for me. If I could give them infinity, I would. But that is no surprise from how much I love Danica and how much I love Dilan. And it's just a testament that they're both such phenomenal writers that they can dip it to like any kind of array with any romance, and I will read it. Honestly, I'll read anything they write at this point, so no one is surprised. So, yeah, those are my reviews and me chatting about 2 of my favorite reads of this year. I need everyone to read these, please. I cannot say that enough. So go get The Brave and the Reckless by Dilan Dyer, and go get Love is a War Song by Danica and Nava. Also check out their backlist. They're also great books. Danica has Truth According to Ember, and I've read it digitally and through audio. The audio is also fantastic. I highly recommend. And Dilan has Cinderella's Faking It and Rapunzel is Losing It. They're both really, really fun, and both of these authors always have great representation in their books, and those are, like, it's no different in their Rocklist titles as well, so highly, highly recommend. Dilan did just announce the 2nd book in the Brave Town series that I'm super, super excited about. It's one of Ezra's friends, and I cannot wait to see what happens when it comes out. I know I will be beating down Del's door for it. No one is surprised. No one is surprised by this information. I'm also excited for whatever else Dilan and Danica do next, and I can't wait. I can't wait for it. I'm so ready for new books from them, but go get these, go read their backlist, and enjoy them, because I know you will. But that is all for this video. Thank you for hanging out with me again. Thank you for showing up, watching this, and listening to me yap. And if you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like down, I don't know, somewhere down there. Subscribe if you're so inclined. I'm trying to be more diligent about any kind of like schedule with YouTube, so I'm probably gonna be doing more shorts as well, since everything going on TikTok. I have since deleted my TikTok, and I kind of like doing those like short little quick videos. So I'm going to try to do more of those shorts, and obviously more long form content as well. So next time you see me, I think I'm going to do a September wrap up, and then we can talk about my October TBR. And yeah, so thank you so much for joining me for another rousing video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!